This is gonna be top 5 pals you should get first. I keep seeing these videos, but they always give like the worst recommendations. They'll be like, oh, get Cativa or like Lamball. I'm like, obviously those are gonna be the first ones you get because that's when you start the game. But I'm talking about the real ones that are gonna fully help you progress throughout the game. These are gonna be my personal favorites and top ones that made me, skyrocket in progress. The methods in which you get them might be a little unorthodox, but they're going to be the ones that carry you throughout the rest of the match. So this is going to be the ones you need essentially to really progress and use for the rest of the game. Serious, right? When I'm going to fucking record. I took care of that real quick. So for our number 5 spot here, it's going to be either a Killamari or a Accelerate. Now I know what you're saying. You're like, come on, really? But in reality, these guys are the number one key to movement around the map. They're so undervalued and underused by all the other Palworld YouTubers I keep seeing, but honestly they're amazing. Like, look how much momentum, just with momentum, like I don't think people are fully utilizing the momentum mechanic in this game. Just look how fast I move just with the glider. This is way faster than any travel mount that you currently can have. Like, and if you're saying like, oh well, that's not gonna help all the time, like you run out of space, obviously it's just for like getting around from higher places to lower places. But even then, if you really want to, if you drop momentum, you can keep carrying it over and over, and the calamari itself lifts you up every time you actually re-enable the glider. The Celery itself, every time you deploy, it gives you a speed boost compared to the calamari's raise in height. As far as the habitat for the calamaris go, it says unknown because they are mainly cave spawns. So any caves you find, especially the ones that are low level, I literally found this one in the cave found right here in this area on the beach. So starting island plateau beginnings is right here. You just slide down the hill, and then instead of going in through that walkway where the church is, you just take this little beach off to the side, and it's found in that cave that's right here in this area. They're mainly cave spawns, so it's gonna say in the habitat that it's unknown, but they're very easy finds. As far as the celeries go, which is also the other glider I mentioned, it'll also just be on this beach right here. Easy and very useful pickup very early on. So at a number 4 spot, I'm actually gonna put the Dire Howl because it is the fastest travel mount right now. Pre anything. Like, this is just a base level Dire Howl, and look how fast it moves. It's honestly incredible. And when I say these are going to be the top 5 ones you use throughout the game, it's not because they're the most powerful or they're the most useful. It's because they're the ones that are get you moving around the map the fastest. And the faster you go in survival games, the more progress you'll make quicker. So the Dire Howl is definitely one of the best pickups you can make early on. Up here in these mountains right here are the areas where the lower level Dire Howls actually spawn. So that's probably where you're going to want to go to get your first pickup of this mob. Here in this area, they tend to be a little higher in the 10 to 14 range. So here at 3 spot, it's going to be a bit of a more obvious choice. It's actually going to be a 2 Peter here because they kind of have the same role and function in the team. It's going to be your beater Fire Sparks and your beater Tansies. Now these guys right here have some of the best stats for working in a base and for being a attack pal. So when you unlock the saddle or the equipable that they have, it actually makes them an insane, and I mean insane, attack weapon. The SMG's base level on a Tansy are just really amazing, and if you just use them as a work mon at your base, they have insane work suitability to all different kinds of things like planting, handiwork, lumbering, transporting, and gathering. So if you want to go ahead and set them up with the log works and maybe even with the planting, that's what I use these guys for. I'll put them up in a little section where I know I'm going to put the logs, and I'm going to put the farms so they can be in both of those sections. And over here, like I said, with the Fox Spark, it is an amazing attack pal to have. The flamethrower does so much damage, and it's just amazing beater whenever you need a first time just mob clear or pal farmer. So these Tansies are actually found just down the plateau beginnings. If you go through the church area again and head straight to your right, it is absolutely populated with level 4, 5, 6 Tansies that you can get right off rip. Same thing with the Fox Sparks, literally just sliding down the hill from plateau beginnings. They always spawn down here at the summit of the mountain. So here at the number 2 spot, it's actually going to be another 2 mods, but this is because they're a little more interchangeable. These mons are the ones at the beginning that you can either pick, and whichever one you just have more readily available to you is the one you're going to want to go with. So here we're going to have the Erecthadeer. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. It's a rideable mount. That's saddle is unlocked at a very, very low level. I'm pretty sure it's like 11. Yeah, it's 12. It's really easy. Like if you really want to just take on that first boss at the Reigns Syndicate Tower, an Erecthadeer is going to be the perfect tank for that, and it dishes out a lot of damage while you're at it. Mainly, I wouldn't include this as a riding mount because compared to the Dire How, it is a lot slower, and I personally don't like it because the moveset on it, since it's a normal like ground type, it doesn't really do a lot of damage, and it's very clunky once he unlocks new skills. In the same spot is going to be the Chillet, which is actually a really easy unlock. If you see here on the map, going from Plateau of Beginnings, it's literally just going through that passing and up to the right on that hill. It's a very easy fight because his skill set is so limited to just ice and dragon moves, but because he has a dragon cannon as his first move, it is such a great tool to use when in that first boss fight. That's literally, I have footage here of what I did with my first boss fight. All I did was run away and spam this dragon attack until I could run away because the chill is so fast compared to that first trainer's electric type that you can just run away while you're doing it. In this section also, I'm also going to put this I guess honorable mention with the Gumas. I was lucky enough to find a shiny Gumas compared to, a regular Gumas. It's absolutely massive, but because of this, if you get any kind of lucky POW at the very beginning, if you're lucky enough, no pun intended, their stats are so good that you can actually use them as a tank in whatever fight you have because their attack is so high, their defense is a lot boosted, and their lucky stat just helps with a lot of damage in that fight. In those boss fights, I think I also had another one where I just used the Gumas and I ran around him using a 3-shot bow, and I was able to kill him just because the Gumas was doing so much damage with his Sandblast and his Wind Cutter. And that's all I did that whole match. So if you are lucky enough to find a lucky that can tank a lot of hits, you should also use that. So these three interchangeably, the Erecthadeer that we have right here, like I said, it would be my second choice to the Chillet. I really don't like the Erecthadeer like other people do. As a farming mount, I think it's a very good mount, but just as like a beginning fighting, moving around mount, I don't think it's very good. I would take Chillet over that any day. And of course, if you are lucky enough to find a lucky in the area that has high attack and high defense, I'd much rather you use that. So the Erecthadeer just crossing through that same church like I mentioned a bunch of times before, it's just going to be going straight through there, and you'll find them all in this area right here in the map, just before the Red Mountains, but not too far enough to go past into these Yellow Mountains over here. Like I said, that Chillet spawns in that area right here in this mountain, but if you can't for some reason find him, like he's glitched or bugged, they do spawn up here in this more dangerous area, but I wouldn't recommend that because they're usually much higher level, 30 to 40s. These Gumases also tend to spawn down here at the Plateau Beginnings down the summit of the mountain. And here at our number 1 spot, we're actually going to have the Mosanda Lux. No, I'm just kidding with you guys. So for our number 1 spot, actually, it's going to be the Daydream. And I know this is going to catch a lot of people by surprise, but the Daydream has been so underrated because of the additional DPS you can get from having a free mon in your inventory. Due to his actual equipable, the Daydream's necklace, if you read it here, if a Daydream is in your team, it will stay by your side and attack enemies in tandem. So now what that means is when I attack another enemy, when I attack this Chickpea and my Daydream is on aggressive, so here, as I hit him, I gotta get a shot on him. Look what it does. Since my Daydream is upgraded, it does that Ice Blast, but regularly it would do his Dark move, which I believe is a Dark Ball, which is an additional 40 power damage just from having him in your party. He literally does nothing other than sit there, and he is still more helpful than every other mon that you just have dead weight in your party. I don't hear anyone talk about this Daydream's necklace. Later on, there is another mon similar, and it's called a hold on, I had her in my inventory, but I'm still learning them all. It's the Dazzy. She does the same thing, but with a lot more damage. But since I also have my Daydream and my Dazzy, both of them attack in tandem, and it's really powerful because of the added DPS it does to bosses. The Daydream I actually found in the cave as well. That beginning cave, the Calamari and the Daydream were my first pickups of this world, and I have been using them still, and I mean still, until I got new pals. And I'm probably what, level 30 right now in this world. They are absolutely essential pickups. So yeah guys, that's gonna be my top 5. I know the first pick is probably a little controversial compared to everything you've seen on other people's lists, but in reality those 5 pals I picked are gonna be the ones you use throughout the rest of your world. I guarantee it. And if you say I'm lying, tell me in the comments. Let me know what you guys think would be your top 5. Personally, I would say the glider is the most useful, but it's the most underwhelming, which is why I said it was at number 5. If you have any questions or comments about the picks I made in this video, go ahead and let me know. Let's spark a little controversy in the comments. I'm personally saying, hands down, these are the best pals you should have off rip. Enjoy guys, have a good day.